Time for the tea party. I take a step into the room, closing the door behind me. My, I'm afraid this really is a small room for the three of us. Would you like to take a seat? I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. I also can't help but steal a quick glance into Lily's top as I sit. Wow, I sow. Classy. To be robbed of sight would be a most terrible fate. Well now, how about some tea? Hanako, could you please pour? Sure. Hisao, would you like... I would love some tea. Do you need a hand? No, I'm fine. Thank you. Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I can't really blame her for. Been a tiring day? Yeah. I relax at my place, opposite of the cabinet. To my left is the blue-clad Lily, and to my right sits the pink Hanako. And in the middle is the tea set. The tea set on the table looks cute as well as practical, painted red with a floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain but generally sophisticated-looking furniture, which leads me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. There's a slight ting when Hanako accidentally clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous, as it's not the kind of thing anyone would worry about. Hanako quivers at her mistake. It's okay, Hanako. There's no need to be nervous. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuringly soft-spoken words and deftly pours the next two cups. Here you are, Hisao, Lily. Hanako carefully places a cup and saucer in front of Lily and myself. I could get used to service like this. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Lily searches for a cup and upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. This is nice. It's so different from any tea I had before. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. You've done well, even if it was a bold move. Hanako's smile returns, redoubled. Even with her blighted face, her shy smile couldn't be called anything but cute. I'm glad you like it. Hanako, finally beginning to relax, sips from her cup. Something about this makes me think about Lily's question at breakfast. Why am I friends with Hanako? Lily seems genuinely concerned for Hanako's well-being, but it's not like I can do anything to help her. As far as I can tell, her scars don't hold her back physically, and everyone I've met seems to have overcome their disabilities to some extent. I don't have any ulterior motives to hang out with Hanako. We just share similar interests. I think you do, Hisao, have somewhat of an ulterior motive. Isn't that enough? Oh, and before I forget, because I already did forget, I was planning on this being 30 minutes because it's the 30th episode of Katawa Shoujo. Yeah. So, Hisao, are you enjoying yourself? Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to reconsider where I am. I'm in a room with two girls in their bedclothes. This is something to be enjoyed. Hisao, are you also in your bedclothes? Your pajamas? Yeah, it's relaxing. Almost like I'm not in the school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that nearly every day, that's not a big surprise. As I move to take another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious. Thank you, Hanako, Lily. You're welcome. Yes, you're most welcome, Hisao. It's nice to have a third person here. Well, anytime you need someone to fill that position, I'm always available. Always. Way to sound desperate. One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. that's like unamused face. Lily lets you loose a yawn, which she unsuccessfully hides with her hand. Pardon me, I think I'm a little tired. I think we're all a little tired. My, how astute we are tonight, Hanako. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Yeah, I should go. Thank you for your presence, Hisao. Thanks. You'll come again? Not even a whole army could stop me. Coming on strong. I'm impressed by your determination, Hisao. Either way, you're right. We'd best be going. I stand up and make for the door. Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. I stop and face her. Are you coming with me? Hanako instantly blossoms into a full blush. No, this room isn't... It's okay, I was only joking. Oh, okay, good night. Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hisao. Night all. Night all. That doesn't sound like a common phrase. And with that, our tea party finishes. I'm still not sure what it is that Lily wants me to do for Hanako, but I don't want to let her down. I apologize if you can hear in the background a lawnmower going off. I don't know whose that is. It's probably my neighbor's. Just a sec. Who is mowing the lawn? Can't even see him. It sounds as though they're right outside my window. I wait until the door has been closed behind us before turning to Hanako. Hey Hanako, you know you don't have to be nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right? Right, we're friends. If you ever want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still need to have that chess rematch, remember? Sure. But I don't think you'll win. It wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. Hanako seems to give a muted laugh, but she could have just as easily been exhaling. Good night, Hisao. With that, Hanako quickly retreats into a room located next to Lily's. I start to walk back to my dorm, but this simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. I barely make it to my own room before I'm hit by a wave of exhaustion. I kick off my shoes, fall into bed, and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. Okay, I paused it, and I got the passing of time to continue. And I want to see. What didn't really want this to show up. Oh, it's on here. I don't know if those are syllables. Katawa Shoujo. Katawa Shoujo. I have no idea how to read. I pull my door closed, ready for another day of classes, and here comes Kenji. Sleep well? Kenji's sudden arrival makes me jump, and I narrowly avoid butting heads with him. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows who I am now. Does he still have to stand this close? Oh yeah, like a baby. Damn, why do people say that? Have you ever heard a baby sleep? Yeah, I guess he's got a point. Babies do cry like a ton. They scream, yeah. They scream all night, every night. Babies don't sleep well, ever. Well, there goes my restful state. I have to remember never to use figures of speech with Kenji. Alright, I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I had a favor to ask, but you weren't around. For a split second I considered telling Kenji the truth, that I was spending time with Hanako and Lily. Thankfully, that split second passes as soon as it came. I was just out checking out the local area and stuff, you know, recon. Good man, good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyway, what was this favor you wanted? I was gonna get some takeout, but I needed change. Wait, what? I gave you money last week and you still haven't paid me back. And I was starting to think you were cool. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet. As he counts out the 400 yen he owes me, I can clearly see that at least two 10,000 yen notes. Wait, you've got 20,000 yen in your wallet? That's like, what? That's like $200, right? Hey, what the hell? I paused. Why are you borrowing money off me when you've got that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, realizing he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half its value. It's the tycoon's rule. Last night's dinner is gonna cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years. Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I'd get a shorter sentence if I just stole the stuff. My common sense screams at me to say something to him, but thankfully I restrain myself. Arguing a point like this with Kenji will just lead to further and more complicated discussions. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe you should plan these things a little better. Yeah, man, I know. But I've got so much stuff to do, it's hard. And you're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers in brotherhood, remember? Yeah, I get you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Kenji draws close enough for me to get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. You'd better, man. You're already spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. They try to split us up. Divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. Roger that. Now I've got to be going. I've got classes. You coming? Nah, I'm tired. I stayed up all night just to make sure nothing was going to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I see. Whatever. Night. Kenji scurries back into his room, and I hear him throwing locks as I walk down the hall. That is why some people can't roll their tongue, or why their second toe is longer than their big toe. I assume we're talking about genetics. Mutao beams at a half-moon smile at us, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. Well, I know blue eyes are recessive, so I've got that. What? Isn't it like hair on your knuckles or something weird like that? I don't know. I think one of those is recessive. However, no matter how impressed he is at the science that defines who we are, the classroom seems to be reduced to a stupor. Why is that a bad explanation can make even the most interesting thing seem worthless? I can see Mutao deflate as he realizes nothing he said in the past half hour has sunk in. Whispered conversations start to break the silence, like an avalanche, the noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Mutao identifies some questions from the test book and sets to clearing off the blackboard. He gives up way too easily. Almost as if expected, Hanako packs up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing amongst themselves. The initial shock of someone plays so blatantly truant has started to fade, but it doesn't stop me from wondering. Is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her? Or is it just the thought of people around her shattering her peace? Before I can think about the topic any further, the lunch bells ring. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual clamor of students exchanging books for lunch reverberates around the room. And while Misha is distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. Good job. Keep her distracted. Lily already sits in the tea room, setting out her lunch alone. So Hanako's not here then? Oh, Hisao, how are you? I haven't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. That's right, Hanako and Lily live next to each other. Somehow I think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's ramblings. That's strange, she left class early, so I figured she'd come here. So she's still leaving class early. Huh? Yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and her tone of voice is notably depressed. It's very reminiscent of someone who's used to hearing bad news. I was so sure she'd stop doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was wondering about just that today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. I personally think it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer someone. I have a flashback of my first meeting with her, when I thought she looked like a cornered animal. Maybe I wasn't far from the truth. But she seems fine with talking to you, and with me a bit. It's a little more complex than that. I imagine that the first thing most people ask her about is her scars and what happened. She rarely talks about it with me, but I can tell she doesn't like to remember whatever happened back then. I'm gonna save, because I feel like a choice is coming on. Mad Hatter, I'm saving. Yes. Continue. What is absenteeism? Leaving class and running away from discussions is her preemptive strike, if you will. Huh. So then how does that explain her talking to me? You said it yourself yesterday at breakfast. You tried to ignore her scars. Once she saw that you weren't going to ask her about that, she opened herself up to you. I guess you're right. Maybe. I don't know. You know her better than I, so I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm sure you'll come to know her as well as I do soon enough. I welcome the prospect of her having a new friend, and the two of you have such similar interests. Well, I hardly count reading as a team sport. It's good to have company, though. That is my point. Hanako is still an average person at heart. She also wants company at times like that. Huh, I see. I think. You said I see again. To be honest, both of you still confuse me a little. That's only natural, Hisao. We've only known each other for a little while. It's unreasonable to expect you to understand us, just as we can't understand you. But that is half the fun of becoming friends, right? Yes it is. Although, I suppose there is the matter of us being opposite genders. Men and women do confuse each other quite often. She says this with a light giggle, finding amusement at the odd little details of life. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start eating. No, go ahead. I think I'll eat something too. I've got some books I want to drop at the library before classes start, so I better get a move on. You'll probably find Hanako there as well. If you do see her, can you tell her to stop by my room later tonight? I'd like to talk to her. You're not coming? Unfortunately, I have a class representatives meeting later, so I'll be gone as soon as I've finished my lunch. Okay then, if I don't see her in the library, then I'll tell her in class. I'm sure she'll be back after lunch. We fall silent as we start to eat, and I take a second to reflect on our conversation. I've always thought that Hanako's shyness was simply due to her being self-conscious of her scars. But that is a pretty superficial way of looking at her. Just when I thought I was able to see through the fog of Lily and Hanako, I realize I'm more lost than when I started. Lily quickly finishes her lunch, acutely aware of her meeting. I don't blame her. Shizune is most likely going to be there, and I doubt she wants to give her the satisfaction of another argument. I must be off. Same time tomorrow? Same time, same channel. I better head off too. I don't want to risk being late. Lily smiles gently, picking up her cane and walks out into the hall. I turn my back on Lily as we head in opposite directions. For some reason, I find myself hoping she doesn't get into another fight with Shizune. As much as I like Lily, Shizune and Misha have been pretty instrumental in helping me adjust, even if half our conversations are pretty thinly veiled recruitment attempts. Then again, I barely know either of them. Maybe they were previously leaders of some kind of secret society, but their love for each other drove them apart. Man, I need to stop reading cheap fiction. It's rotting my brain. Either that or I've got to move away from Kenji and his bad influence. I'd say Kenji first, and then bad fiction. Well, I guess, I don't know. What's an example of bad fiction? The Twilight books? Don't read those. It's sad that I can't tell the two apart anymore. I slide my books down the return chute, and they crash into the cart with a pleasant thud. Yuko, however, doesn't seem as impressed as I. Hisao, you scared me. Sorry, I thought you would be used to that by now, or is the literacy level here so low that nobody borrows any books? That's a low blow to the school. Huh? No, I think everyone here can read fine. Yeah, never mind. You weren't funny, Hisao. That's why she didn't laugh. There are some battles that you can never win. Trying to explain jokes is one of them. My dad taught me that the hard way. Say, Yuko, have you seen Hanako about? She left class early, but she wasn't in her usual hiding place. I think I saw her sneak in before lunch. Oh, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. I just told you I saw her leave. No need to stress out. Oh, of course. She's probably in the back. Thanks. Get any new books in recently? No, sorry. I'll let you know when we do, though. Okay. If there's one thing I know about librarians, part-time or otherwise, it's that they appreciate people that take a genuine interest in their work. Oh, we're actually panning. I walked the now familiar path to Hanako's reading nook, picking out a few titles along the way. Sometimes I find it hard to discover a book that will interest me among the shelves. An author's name and a 2-word title don't mean much in a sea of similar words. For that reason, I sometimes reread books that I read in the past, or that I read in the past. Better to bet on the favorite than a new runner. An unfamiliar title from a familiar author peeks out among the spines of its neighbors, so I remove it from the shelf. At least I'm not going over old material. I'm trying to see how long it's been. I don't remember, I forgot to set a timer. Fripperies. As expected, Hanako sits on her beanbag, buried deep in a copy of Dance Dance Dance. Okay. Hi Hanako, how's it going? I fight back the urge to ask why she left class early. If Lily's suspicions were right, then asking her about it could have the opposite effect. Best to leave it for the time being. Sometimes the best way to get an answer from someone is to never ask the question. Hello, Hisao. I'm fine. Something seems off, and after a couple of seconds, I realize what it is. Hanako's smiling. She also has no nose. That's kind of weird. She looks as if she's pleased to see me. It's a nice change from the usual, instinctively frightened reaction. And something I hope I can see more of as we get to know each other better. Good to hear. How's that book? I've heard it's a trip. It's good, I think. I've only just started it, so I don't really know. Fair enough. Let me know how it goes. I may borrow it once you're done. Sure. There's a good 15 minutes left in lunch, not enough to really get into a book, but too much to stand around doing nothing. Hanako's already returned to her reading, so I doubt I'll get much conversation from her. Oh well, I'd better make myself comfortable. I slouch into a beanbag and crack open my book. The familiar style... Oh my goodness. The familiar style of the author leaps out at me from the very first line. As the sentences turn into paragraphs, I start to relax a little. But no matter how I try, I can't seem to get myself into the atmosphere of the book. This is partly due to the lack of time, but the more distracting factor is Hanako. Oh, she just looked at me. Every 10 or so seconds, she peers over the top of her book. But when our eyes meet, she quickly ducks behind the covers. I guess she did want to talk about something after all. What's up? You look like a prairie dog on lookout. It's nothing. I told you before, nothing means something when you say it like that. Hanako squirms a little in her beanbag, hoping that by changing her position she'll find the words she's looking for. I was in an accident. Oh, she's talking about her scars. Accident? Just now? Are you alright? Hisao, are you stupid? Hanako shakes her head, her hair flowing around her shoulders in wisps of amethyst on a background of pale and dark flesh. No, when I was younger. Realization crashes into me like a semi. When I was... It's alright, Hanako, you don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to. Again, she shakes her head. No, I have to tell you. Whoa, is this her drawing? When I was young, I was in a fire. My house burned down, and I nearly didn't make it. After that, I was alone. Hanako's eyes glisten in the dim light of the library, and I reach out to grasp her hand. It's okay, Hanako. You don't have to keep going, but I have to. Why? What brought this on? Last night, Lily told me about your heart, and I didn't think it was fair. Fair? Not really. It wasn't fair. I should have told Hanako about my heart. Lily, what are you doing? That I knew about you, but you didn't know about me. I squeeze Hanako's hand a little. Don't be silly, but yes, I have a heart condition. I lean it a little closer to Hanako. What I didn't tell Lily is that I had my first attack when a girl confessed to me. I smile a little to break the tension. Really? Really, I haven't heard from her for a while though, so I guess it's all over. I know it's all over. There's no other way to interpret what happened the last time I saw her. In some ways, not having heard from her again has helped me move on from that period of my life. So now, we both know a little more about each other. But you don't have to talk about things if you don't want to. In fact, I feel a little bad even thinking about the whole incident. I can almost smell the hospital's disinfectant burning the back of my sinuses again. I imagine Hanako is going through the same thing right now. When I was in the hospital, I went to the burn ward once, and only once. I was bored, so I went for a walk through all of the wards. I went through oncology, and I thought I could take it, but when I got to the burn ward, I turned around and went back to my bed. To think Hanako would have spent months in a place like that, smelling nothing but corrupted skin, strong disinfectant, and sterilized air. The really bad cases were kept in isolated pods that no foreign objects could enter. That would have meant no reading. I would have gone insane if I didn't have my books in the hospital. And she said she was alone. Did her parents die? I'll have to ask Lily about it. I can't imagine myself saying something dumb unintentionally. Thank you, Hisao. I haven't told many people about this. To be honest, I haven't told many people about my circumstances either. Then I won't tell anyone either. Deal. I change my grip on Hanako's hand to a handshake as the warning bells chime through the window. Well then, we'd better head back to class then, eh? Canadian again? Sure. Oh, fade to white, what's going on? Cutscene? Oh, a new act already, whoa. Castling. Whenever I tried to do that in chess, I would fail. The tint of the room slowly changes from the shine of the afternoon to the orange of dusk. A clock lazily ticks away at the seconds, counting in the background, on the verge of hearing. But no matter how long I wait, the outcome cannot be changed. The diminutive playing piece makes a small click against the board. Like a wound spring, Hanako makes her move only moments after mine. Well, I think I'm going to end it here. I'm pretty sure it's been 30 minutes. If not, if it's close enough. Yeah, so save. It is now Act 3. And, yeah.